You're listening to the Crew Book Club podcast, the show that challenges you to change your mindset through hearing about dope books. Thanks for hanging with the crew to get advice, ask questions, and gain knowledge with me, your host, Sade Hill. All right, what up, crew? What's good? Welcome to another episode of the Crew Book Club podcast. I'm so excited to be on here. It's your girl, Sade. Let's get into it. How are you feeling today? In this very moment, listening to the pod, how are you feeling? If you feeling good, feeling great, hey, feeling good, feeling great, how are you? Keep that same energy moving forward. Don't let nobody take that away from you. Continue to curate that goodness. And if you like, girl, I ain't feeling it today, that's okay too. I need you to curate it. Feel it for a little bit. And then keep it keep it pushing. You understand what I'm saying? And hopefully after listening to this pod, that you get all the good feels and you can move forward to change your environment. Because baby, you have all the power. We talked about this in our last episode, Put Me In Coach. Oh no, not Put Me In Coach. Look at Me Now. That you have the power, dominion, and authority to change whatever you want to change. Okay, you got all the power, sis. So activate that power and have authority. All right. So first, let me just thank you, BetterHelp, for being the sponsor of this episode. We are partnered with BetterHelp, so you can get 10% off your first month of therapy. I cannot tell y'all how many times therapy has changed my life and also my relationships. It is just amazing. I'm trying to get my mama, daddy, sister, cousin, whatever family, because family is important. And I would really wish we would focus on our family and getting into therapy, not just when we have breakups, not just when we are, it's, you know what I'm saying? Like, family is important. And business relationships. Like, I think we had a Crew Book Club episode where someone asked about, should they end a business relationship? A business is like a marriage. And before you end it, you should get into therapy just to make sure you guys are properly communicating and past traumas are not affecting your future and how we handle and deal. So definitely get your discount, get our discount with our partnership with BetterHelp. Go to betterhelp.com/crewlove. The link will be in the show notes for that as well. All right. So we're going to hop into our favorite segment of the show. At least it's mine. Who gonna check me, boo? He is always checking us. And we deserve a good check because it keeps us in check. And let me tell you, I was in check all this week preparing for the mastermind, which was absolutely amazing. If you missed the mastermind, you missed a good time. Second, a way to elevate yourself and to be in a room with other people. It was just empowering. Y'all motivated me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm super excited about that. And for the people who missed the in-person mastermind, I do have something working in the background that's coming your way. So that way you can be locked in with the crew too. All right? I'm not going to keep all this goodness to myself. All right? But I want to focus on this particular Who Gon Check Me Boo. And this particular Who Gon Check Me Boo comes from the sermon by Pastor Sarah Jakes Roberts, titled, What Does Your Character Say About You? The link to that sermon will be in the show notes. Y'all have to watch this sermon. It had me jumping up and down, shouting, and a lot of her sermons do that. It's just, this particular one just hit different because it was right on time with what we're talking about in this episode with our book, Bamboozled by Jesus. But it's also a recognition for me that the things that I've gone through in my past has built my character to endure what is coming in the future, to be able to face it with power, authority, and dominion, because God has built my character to do so. And there was a few points I'm going to read that really stood out to me. There was plenty, but these three hit. It was one, she started off rip. She said, character doesn't change depending on the room you're in. Character is the same regardless of where you put it, because the character is not rooted in the likability. Character is rooted in the belief system. A lot of times I think we misconstrue the association of character And it's really deep dived into our belief system and how we show up. You know what I'm saying? And we can change the room based on our character. And I just strongly believe, like, just having the effects to go into the meet and greet, to go into the mastermind, I have to have good character to be able to do those things. And God has tested me to be comfortable enough in my character to move forward with teaching and helping other people, right? The second one was, she said, I could tell you that I like you when we leave, but I cannot commit to you until I get to see your character. I want to see how you treat people whom you don't think you need. I want to understand, do you feel like people are opportunities, or if you feel like they are gifts from God that should be valued? Oh, be careful how you handle people. Be careful don't be an opportunist. Don't, I'm not saying like your friend group shouldn't benefit you in some way, but it's just how your intentions. If you're just friends with somebody because of what they can do for you, or relationships, period. The job, the significant other, the friendships, business relationships, anything like that, as far as like the opportunists of you, like curate it where you're really valuing the gift that God has given them, and you're not seeing them just based on what they can do. And if they can't do those things, you're like, that's it. You know what I'm saying? And that was just really good. I was like, whoa, that's really dope. You know, even down to the server. Like, if I'm out to eat with you and you're horrible with the server who's giving service, which is the thing we're here to serve. And if you can't even be good with them, like, what does that say about your character? You only like people because they dress nice, or, oh, I'm only going da-da-da-da. Like, come on now. Now, I'm not saying that you don't have to have a standard. I'm just saying, like, don't judge or not be in connections with people because they have not. You know what I'm saying? The third one was, the enemy isn't attacking your family, life, and finances. It's attacking your belief system. She says, if the enemy can get a hold of your belief system, then it will change your character. And if it changes your character, you will not walk in power. You will walk in authority. You will not walk in to the boldness, because you will have a belief system that says, I cannot trust whom God says I am. Whoa. So when you feel those attacks coming from you from all sides and all angles, we don't judge the person necessarily, right? We can judge the enemy using them to attack us, to attack our belief system, so we can no longer trust in God and walk into our will and our purpose. Ooh. And that's why the biggest thing you can do for someone that you're not in union with or on the same page, and you feel disrespected or whatnot, step away, pray for them, and that's what you can do. You know what I'm saying? Because you know it's the enemy using them to keep you from doing his will, so you won't have the belief system that you need to fulfill purpose. You feel me? That sermon, let me tell y'all, there was a lot. I can have a whole episode on that sermon, but definitely check it out. I can't even remember the scripture that she really started, and then it just blew up into this thing, and she really started speaking from the heart and soul, and you could definitely see like God was speaking through her, and she needed to say these things about character, and I hope you're receiving that. So where you're at right now might not be where you need to be. You just might be missing that component of building your character. Okay, everything you're going through is building your character. You hear me? All right, so that was a Who Gon Check Me Boo. He is always checking us, and we continue to be checked. All right, so let's talk about some crew love and ways you can do that. Ways you can show some crew love is definitely leaving a written review on Apple, as well as giving 5 stars. Also, 5 stars on Spotify. Follow us on social media. Not LinkedIn. Thinking about my realtor page. You can follow the Crew Book Club at Instagram, TikTok, and Fanbase. Is literally at the Crew Book Club. And also, you can visit our website, thecrewbookclub.com. We are official, I'm trying to tell you. And those are the different ways you can connect with the crew. All right. So, and I am coming up with other ways to connect with you guys. And I'm excited about the future of the Crew Book Club. I got people that I want to join. And I'm like, this is the way to join right now. But there is something coming soon where we're going to be more intimate with each other. And I'm super excited about that. All right. So let's get into the book. We are almost done, y'all. We're going to be finishing this book by the end of the year. And we're going to be entering into a new book. I'm excited about that. And today we're going to get into Bamboozled by Jesus, the booked, blessed, and busy portion of the book. And we're going to do chapter 17. Don't let your talent write a check your character can't cash. God is so good. He's so good at piecing everything together. Because when I was watching that sermon, I didn't even realize this was going to be the topic of discussion for the book. So it just worked out perfectly as he always does. So it's perfect timing. All right. We're going to start on page 181. She already wrote out the gates. It says, how your true motives for achieving success reveal a lot about your character. And your character will either lead you to the promised land or down a landslide. Okay. Talent is what gets you on the court, but character keeps you in the game. I don't know how many times I've gotten a position based off my character and not necessarily my skill set. Because wholeheartedly, I would rather work with somebody with a positive, great attitude that looks at things with great character instead of working with someone with bad character but have all of the skills in the world. Because then I can't trust you. Okay? Like, no. So I really like that she even started the chapters off like that, off rip. It says, every day in every field, people sign on the dotted line to gain fame and fortune by compromising their faith or their standards. Not you, though. Nah. You're too cool for that. In fact, you're ice. That's a person of integrity, character, and excellence. Yes. When the good books ask what good it does for a person to gain the whole world but lose their soul in the process, it's inviting us to do a hard check on what we value. I remember telling you guys to write down your values and your morals so that way when you're contemplating about doing something, you can go back to that list and see if that lines up with your values or morals. And if it don't, you don't do it. You know what I'm saying? And having that discernment and relationship with Christ will allow you to do that. And the only way you can have that is if you're in relationship with him. Okay? She discusses her agreement with God that nudity was not an option in the movie Insecure and Molly. And Molly has some fire, sexy scenes. You feel me? But at the end of the day, she stuck to her guns. She talked to production. And she was like, I'm not going to do that. And on page 184, she discusses that a little bit. It's the thoughts you allow to linger a moment too long, or the deal you make that's a little sketchy, or the corners you cut when you think no one will notice, that causes the checks your talent writes to bounce. She says, I made sure to talk with producers about their vision for my character and joking about needing to protect my areolas because my parents were alive and I didn't want to be written out of their will. You know, even though it was a joke, you know, she set her boundaries to stick to her morals and values. And if God, let me tell y'all something. If God meant for you to have something, you will have it by sticking to your morals and values. Stop compromising yourself. You feel me? Like, stop downgrading, doing things outside of your moral and values that where you can't go to God and he can say, well done. She even points that out on page 185, which I like. She says, success wasn't going to be worth it if I couldn't honor God with my gifts. Let me tell y'all something. I don't want it and you shouldn't want it if it doesn't honor God. Because if it doesn't honor God, it's not going to come with peace. You're going to be driving yourself up you're going to be successful and crazy. I don't want the success if I'm going to be crazy. I don't want it if I'm not honoring Christ. Because one, he might give it to you just like, dang, I can't think of it. Is it Solomon? When he was supposed to be a ruler over all these, God still gave him a little bit, but he didn't give him all of it because he didn't stay in the word. He didn't honor God. He continued to do his own thing. So don't go out. Let me tell y'all, the success that you're receiving right now might be good. It might be like, oh, this gravy. I don't need nothing else. But imagine if you actually gave your life to God, did it in his honor, you would have way more with less stress. Way less stress. No stress, no worry. If you know how to check yourself and keep yourself checked. In church today, he said, when you're in worry, you're worshiping the enemy. But when you're at peace and trusting God, that's a worship that you want to have with God. And I was like, dang. And it made me check myself because I was like, every time I get into that space of anxiety and worriness, that means I'm giving the enemy a lot more power than what he deserves. All right? So I love that she said that on page 185. Success wasn't going to be worth it if I couldn't honor God with my gift. So true. Let's hit page 189 and 190, and I'm going to end it with that on chapter 17. It says, not letting your talent write a check that your character can't cash isn't a one-time event. It involves consistently analyzing your motives. When you're mindful of who you represent, you realize that our calling is bigger than the thing we will do well and larger than any temporary feelings. In Isaiah 26, chapter 26, verse 8, it says that God's name and reputation should be the desires of our hearts. That means we can't just go around operating in mediocrity. God's name is on the line. We talked about last episode having big faith. We're going to walk around here with confidence because we know who our Father is. Okay? I ain't got time to be mediocre because I serve a big God. Okay? So I'm going to walk around here big. All right? She also says on page 190, literally the last sentence in the chapter, God's not about to let you go out like that. He would rather delay your success than have your success derail your destiny. When you take the time to develop your character, God will do his part to develop your career. And that's a check you can take straight to the bank. Okay? So trust in God, follow his will, honor him. Do not lower or compromise yourself. Stop it. Okay? You are so worthy because he is worthy. All right? Woo, that was so good. Chapter 18. Yes. And remember, you guys can get this book is on Audible. She is reading it herself, so that's pretty cool. And you can check out, we do have a partnership with Audible. The link will be in the show notes. You can go to audible.com. Promo code is CREWLOVE to get your free 30-day experience of Audible, your premium experience with Audible. All right? So check that out. Now, chapter 18, Bentleys don't go on sale. They sure don't, y'all. She says here on page 191, the reality is that Bentleys don't go on sale, yet every day people discount themselves in both relationships and business. Now, when I'm reading this, don't just think about charging people financially, but or at your job, because some people think of entrepreneurship. But not just that, girl, negotiate your salary. If you feel like you're worth something than what the base pay is, fight for yourself. Be like, this is the value that I bring. Know your value. And ask. Stop devaluing yourself. You are very valuable. Know your value. Know your worth. So you can charge the right price. Okay? And even your peace and being in people's presence. Know your value when you need to stay in a room and when you need to find the exit doors. All right? She says, one of my morning mantras is, I deserve God's best. I'll marry his best, live in his best, and work with his best. Jesus died on the cross for me to get all of that. So it would be a waste of a crucifixion to discount what is already paid in full. Girl, God already paid for that. You better ask for it. All right. Listen here on page 192, she says, when I used to host weddings, every time I betrayed myself by lowering my rate, I had nobody to blame but me. Take accountability, okay? I ended up doing more work, but would come home with insufficient funds. I shortchanged myself because I low-key doubted I could carry an entire event. Woo, woo. This is my mindset when I even put the price on the mastermind. I was like, I don't know. And people came. One, because I trusted God. I prayed about it. Now, I'm not saying you go charge whatever you want to charge. Really go to God and pray. I'm like, okay, God. One, where does my value come in? Am I giving this particular service? Do I deserve it with integrity and honor in your name? And what should I be asking for? Let me tell you, when you go to him, he's not going to dub you. He's not going to devalue you. Okay? Here she says, oh, other times I was just so desperate for money that anything was better than nothing. That's another thing. Don't be making decisions emotionally. Okay? Especially when you in need and dire need. Be careful not to devalue and settle for less, all right? Because that's when we're moving off of emotion. She says here, but you experience that sucky feeling of regret enough times and you learn how much better nothing is on your own terms. As you're building your profile, there will be times to offer taste tests for clients to sample and get to know the brand. But after everyone's gotten hooked, set your rates. Baby, I was just... This might be not the best example, but it's whatever. I watched Snowfall. Yeah, there was a scene in Snowfall, I forgot what season it was, when Franklin was giving out free samples, the first season, when he was giving out free samples of his new cocaine. And people got addicted, and then they set the price, and they made their money. Now, I'm sorry I couldn't find one that was so God-related. My bad. Don't judge me. What my friends say, judge your mama. But yeah, that's just kind of like the example of that. That's what came to my mind, okay? But sometimes you got to bet on yourself. She also says here on page 193. She says, in your personal and professional life, people will stay trying to play you. They know how valuable you are. They're just hoping you don't. When someone tries to shortchange you, don't trip. Your worth is not up for debate. Bentleys don't get mad that you can't pay full price for them. Your inability doesn't depreciate their value. Baby, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Okay? You hear me? That job might say, oh, the starting pay is this, da-da-da-da-da. But you're like, baby, do you see my experience? Fight for you. Be like, this is my value. This is what I'm worth. Okay? And then set your price. And don't shortchange yourself. You hear me? Don't shortchange yourself. Because people know exactly what you're worth. And then you know what some jobs be doing, which I can't stand? And I had a friend talk about this. They were like, I'm doing like this, that. I'm doing like 4 people jobs when I'm only getting paid for 1. I said, well, state it. Tell them. Because what you're doing is going home, complaining, keeping all that in, and then you're going to mess up your own bed by not expressing yourself and communicating. And then people just might give you what you want because they know how valuable you are. They're just hoping that you don't say anything because then they got to step up to the plate. Closed mouths don't get fed. Okay? Ooh, that was good. All right. Know your value. Ask for what you need. Ask for what you deserve. Not what you need, what you deserve. All right? Because we might be living below our needs on purpose. But ask for what you deserve, sis. On page 194, she says, truth is, you've outgrown who you used to be, and that's something to be proud of. Not ashamed about it. The butterfly ain't tripping because it used to be a slimy, sluggish caterpillar. Both versions of you needed to exist in different seasons to get you exactly where you are now. So spread your wings and fly, boo. It reminds me, this example came to mind. Thank you, God. Because we ain't going to be dope boy fresh out here today. It came to me, think about artists. As a rapper, I'm pretty sure when Drake first started rapping, he was rapping for free. He was trying to do anything to get his name out there. Now, if you try to book Drake, I don't know, you might be looking at $500,000 just to see the man. So what I'm saying is, like, sometimes give a little taste. You know what I'm saying? You might be a little caterpillar slugging through, but then, baby, when you start to spread your wings, become a butterfly, charge them. Okay, charge it. All right. On page Where we at? That was good. Let's get to the end of the chapter because that was really good. On page 197, the last sentence literally says, so go ahead and set that bar whatever you want. If people can't meet it, that doesn't mean it's too high. They just might be too short. Okay? Let people catch up. And I'm preaching to myself because my coach and my other partner, my day one, my numero uno was like, no, you're worth more than that. Other people was just like, no, you worth more than that because there's something that I've been contemplating about charging for. And I was like, nope, that's not enough. And I'm like, well, but I put in the work. And the results are showing. So why not? People do it all the time. But I did say I'm going to pray about it and let God tell me the exact number he wants me to charge for each event and everything. Because I want to be accessible and I don't want to be too highbrow either. So definitely go to God. But definitely y'all, like, don't devalue yourself. Don't compromise yourself. You are so valuable. Okay? All right. So that was chapter 18. Bentleys don't go on sale, baby. All right. These were so good. Now let's get into the challenge of the week. The challenge of the week is definitely, you should already know what I'm about to talk about. The challenge of the week is set your standard. That is the challenge of the week. Set your standard. All right. Set them high. Have high standards. Stop lowering yourself. On page 193, what really made me want to make this challenge is set your standard. It says, there are some people who will count the cost of your standards, your portfolio, or your expertise. They will be unwilling or unable to pay the price for it. It doesn't change your worth. It just means they're not the right ones to receive the fullness of everything you have to offer. On page 195, she says, you are exactly who you think you are, even if it's far cry from what God actually thinks you are. I wish you could see the way the heavens see you. So set your standard high. I don't know what it is, and it don't have to be a financial standard. It could be a boundary you need to set with someone. It could be that person, it could be the fact that this person been taking advantage of you, driving them around, and they're not even putting nothing in your tank, and you over here struggling, eating gas money. Tell them people. It could be something minimum. It could be something at your job where people just assume you're going to buy them lunch or assume that you're going to do this. It could be setting a standard on your time. People might be coming in late and you not saying nothing. That significant other might be walking in the door times at night and you ain't saying nothing. Say something. Set your standard. Even set your standard for yourself. Because a lot of times we're not setting the standards for ourselves and withholding them, what make you think they gonna listen to you? And you ain't even valuing yourself. All right? You have all control. So take accountability, take control of your life, and set your standards. All right, boo? And walk in that thing. All right. So that's your challenge of the week. Set your standards. All right. Now, let's get into some advice. What would the crew do? How? Ask for advice. If you want to ask me some advice and I can put it on a pod and the crew can respond, go to our Instagram, our TikTok, or our fan base. You can DM me at the Crew Book Club, ask advice, or you can email thecrewbookclub@gmail.com to ask your advice. This advice comes in from the mastermind, and I thought I would just bring it right over here to y'all so y'all can listen. And she said, I'll give you some background. We were talking about the steps of being consistent. A lot of times people aren't motivated, but at least you can be consistent. If you can't find motivation, be consistent. And she was like, well, I had this daily planner about time blocking. And I said, write your day out daily so you know exactly what you need to do, how long you need to do it. Set your timer to be purposeful and intentional about your day. She was like, I know I can't do this. First of all, you're already telling yourself you can't do something. So let's change our verbiage. I can do this. I'm going to try to do this. The second thing is, instead of focus on doing it at such a high level every day, find yourself doing it one day a week and committing to it and not dropping the ball. Sometimes you got to start slow because you're stepping into something that makes you uncomfortable. And if you over deliver or over promise yourself and under deliver, you're going to be disappointed and you're going to hurt yourself. And then we got to go work around the emotional part of being kind to yourself. And then you got to get up and muscle to do it again. So start small. So whatever that task is, whether it's setting up using a planner, you never used your planner before, or being more efficient using your phone with your calendar, or just do it one day out of the week and see how that goes and start small. If you need to work out, I want to work out 5 days a week to get this, girl, you ain't even working out one day a week. You know what I'm saying? And even on that one day, instead of working out for an hour, work out for 10 minutes. So start small, but do not do nothing. Did I say that right? You know what I'm saying? Like, do something. It's better to do something than nothing at all. And start small. But you have to be consistent. Because motivation can be out the window. All right? But be consistent with yourself. We be consistent with everybody else, going to somebody's job on time, being at our friends' events on time, or giving money to things, you know. So dedicate some consistency to yourself. All right. So that was what would the crow do. All right. And you know we cannot end the episode without a quote of the week. The quote of the week comes from page 195. And this is so good. It's all around the episode that we've been talking about, from the Gon Check Me Boo to the last chapter 18, Bentley's Don't Go on Sale. How you view yourself determines how you'll allow others to see you as well. Okay? So go out and set your standards, view yourself highly so others can respect your value and be great. All right, crew? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Crew Book Club podcast, and I will holler at y'all right here next week. Hey! Want to be a part of the crew? Hit that follow button so you'll never miss an episode. And while you're at it, I would appreciate you showing crew love by rating the show on iTunes and Spotify. Don't keep all this goodness to yourself. Share and tell a friend so your whole crew can be growing with you. Let me be the first to tell you, welcome to the crew.